What's good? Game on, Wisconsin. Great to have you back here for another episode of Coast to Coast Packers. We got a lot to get into. The off season is in full swing. How you doing today, Ummer?
I'm great, man. Happy Monday, man. I'm hyped, man. I am really looking forward to our conversation today. I think last time we went on last Monday, we had not heard from Hafley yet. Now we have.
Yeah.
And I think I can speak for almost 99% of people, minus the Joe Barry apologists, that I'm ready to run through a wall for this guy. And I'm really looking forward to seeing, man, just the way he kind of put the staff together. And the draft starts, the combine starts today to get our measurements in and stuff like that. So I'm hyped, man. I'm ready to go, man. I'm in a great mood, man. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, okay, this is ridiculous. It's true. It's true. People are already saying it.
Why? What is the reasoning? Like they just don't like them?
You know what? It's par for the course. It's funny too, because like I remember like when we had Capers, right? I don't think I was ever a fire Capers guy, but I definitely was getting like frustrated with the way he would do things, right? But like with Pettin, when we brought in Pettin, I never was like fire Pettin. Like I was pissed off by the 2019 game. I'm not gonna lie, but I was like, offense didn't show up either until in the end when it didn't matter. But like I don't think like I never had like a hashtag fired Mike Pettin. Like I just wasn't feeling like that. I felt like Pettin's a good defense corner. He had resume, he had reputation. Joe Barry though? Oh no, you, me, and I think most people were out on that before he even got hired. And
dude, if his resume got him that job, like holy shit, man, I should be doing more than teaching school. I think
that's not to get like woke or whatever with folks, but that's failing upwards, bro. That is some entitled failing upward shit where like you did not do good in 2 stints, and they're like maybe third time's a charm, and nah, dog, it wasn't. And the thing, you know what really hurts is like in that locker room. I know that all these guys have been talking the right shit when it comes to Joe Barry, but damn well that there's players in that locker room who are just sick and tired of playing for this guy in the sense of like the positions that he was putting them in to not succeed. And what I loved about Hafley's presser was he kept saying, it's my job to get the best out of these players, to put them in the best position to succeed. And these players want to get better, and I want to be the one that helps them. And he talked about teaching. He talked about teaching, something that like I don't think we were getting a lot of these last 3 years. And I love it. I'm ready, man. Like I watched the presser again last night, and I was, really just like I felt like his ability to relate to players and to back it up like LaFleur did. Like LaFleur's a young guy, right? Yeah. And like he would just be like, people like, you don't really like when you got a younger guy coming in trying to tell you what to do. He has to be able to earn that trust. And Hafley talked about that a lot. He goes, these guys have to earn it from me, but I have to earn it from them too. And to me, that is a mark of a good leader.
Absolutely.
So, let's get into it, man. I know you guys. I can go all day. I gotta stop talking.
Let's just jump right into it, man. We'll just go right into Hafley's presser. Some things that really stood out to me was like early in the interview, he said, "This is the mecca of football world to me," and it was crazy because like I just listened to the presser earlier today. I had read some quotes a couple days ago. But on my show yesterday that I have with my buddy Stephen Copeland, Big Cheese Sports, check it out. We were talking about Lambeau Field and the mystique of the organization, right? And how it just like permeates throughout the Midwest. And this dude feels it. It's the mecca of football world to him. He has reached the pinnacle, right? He said something about he felt bad for leaving his staff in Boston College. So he's a sentimental guy, but he knows he's at the next step, right? Like every football coach, when they make this a career, there's probably a lot of guys who want to be at that NFL level. And he's bounced around, in and out of jobs between college and pros. So dude, that he is just honored to be there, and he's going to be doing everything he can. And one more thing before I throw it back your way is he wants to coach his players to play instinctively, get their jobs down to like muscle memory. Let the coaches do the majority of the communication and data collection and bring what is necessary to the players so they can just strictly focus on the game, playing instinctively, intuitively. You just love that, man, that the dude wants to get his hands dirty right away. And he wants to make it like almost like he wants to put the players schematically in the correct places, so they're just there and need to do their job. I don't know, man. It's just like he's got great core beliefs. I think he wants to get dirty. He wants to put hands on people, and he wants people playing with their hair on fire. I mean, like what's not more to get you fired up? What I just love it, man. I loved hearing them, and I'm probably going to listen to it again because it pumped me up. But what are some other things that stood out to you that like really started making you like feel pumped up and like knew that this is the guy?
I think Todd hit it great where he's talking about how Hafley is like a clone of Matt LaFleur and the way he speaks. And he really is focused on player development, player relationships.
Yes.
And he said something he said so many things that like it just felt very refreshing, right? And his vision and break kind of mentality when it comes to how he wants to coach these players, where they're not so focused on where the other offensive opponents are, but more so about the fact that it's about them knowing exactly what to do and running at 100 miles per hour and just playing with, like you said, with their hair on fire, right? He might change that up a little bit. Might need to be a hot piss, but you know what I'm saying? Or it's wow, I'm dyslexic here. Piss hot up in this jump. But all I'm saying is like there was something he said, like, I can come up with the best play and I could think it is the best thing in the whole wide world. And then the players go out there to execute it and it doesn't work. And I can sit here and say, oh, it's the player's fault. But that would not be good coaching. That would not be good teaching. And that would not help me broker a better relationship with these guys. And I think time and time again, we heard LaFleur and Joe Barry really focus on execution. In my mind, that is a very like passive way of just blaming the players for not executing properly. Now, are there times where players didn't, drop picks, things like that? I get that. But at the end of the day, like if they don't have faith in your scheme and they don't have faith in you as a coach, yeah, they're not gonna be going 100 miles per hour. There's too much thinking, and you saw that a lot. I mean, hell, we had a freaking almost a career game by Justin Jefferson because of the fact that people didn't know how to pass him off. And like I think Max here said too, where I think we all can agree that the type of energy, like when I remember going back and listening to Joe Barry's presser, and it was his opening presser, and it was no different than it was every single week. It was fucking like Igor's up there from fucking Winnie the Pooh. Yo, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna do the best I can. I know I have these scars from being a shitty DC, and guess what? He just added more. But the truth is, like when I hear Jeff talk, you could tell he's been in this position before. He has been in a position of not just running very successful secondaries, but running a very good defensive program in Ohio State when he was a co-defensive coordinator, as well as, Boston College, he wasn't the defensive coordinator, he was the head coach. So, and we all know in college, he explained it as well too. He was talking about it in that presser where like his first year was just focused on just being a head coach, and then COVID hit. Then the following year, it was a transfer portal. Then the following year was NIL, and he goes, it's not even about you recruit a guy, but you got to recruit a guy and you got to keep a guy. There's no contracts. And he goes, he didn't want to get on a soapbox about it. But the truth is, he definitely expressed how he couldn't just do. And he said the amount of coaching the amount of tape he's looked at in the last like 2-3 weeks is the most he's looked at in like 3 years. And he just feels like a kid in a candy shop. I mean, anyone can sit there and say and listen to his press conference. And I know it's a press conference. He hasn't won any games yet. He hasn't coached any defenses. He hasn't for the Packers yet. He hasn't played a damn game. I get all that. But there's something to the fact that you go into a press conference and to win a press conference. And I feel like not everybody can do that. I don't think Matt LaFleur did that when he first came on as a head coach. He was very nervous. He was very like, God, stuttering. It's his first time, right?
Yeah.
But he proved us wrong. He showed us, hey, I know how to fucking coach. Sorry, I know how to freaking coach. And then you got now Jeff Hafley, who's been a head coach. He's been in this position of leadership. And I think Jason Wilde had mentioned this many times. We're like, Matt LaFleur probably wants a guy who could just be the head coach of his defense. And the fact that he had to get so involved this last year with Joe Barry, to the point that I think the offense may have suffered a little bit, because
absolutely.
Right? And
yeah, we talked about that on our show about
yes,
how he was taking on too much, LaFleur, right?
Yeah.
And like that stuff he needs to delegate, and
to the point where he's talking about giving up play calling. Now, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
like I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. We got our folks up in here. We got Max, we got Chris, we got Todd, everyone up in here. I love that. Thank
What
you
up,
for showing
fellas?
up, guys. But no, it's one of those things where it's like, man, like the fact that you as a head coach, that shows you that Marco, another good leader, where he's willing to give something up that he loves to do to make the team better.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't have to do that. Like I feel like
Yeah.
he interviewed a lot of really great guys. He went with Hafley, and Hafley does come highly recommended. And man, open just the way the boy just talk about damn defense, but he was talking about like open close, one high safety, post safety, all this crazy stuff. I'm just like, man, he goes, our job is, I love press man. We're going to break routes. And then his definition of what a post safety is someone that's goes 100 miles per hour, that finishes off tackles, that if you have a run play that breaks open the middle, he's going to be a short tackler. I mean, he's basically describing Nick Collins there, right? I mean, he really is. You know what I'm saying? But the truth is like, no, I just think that I might have to watch the press conference again. It's 28 minutes of freaking bliss. And hey, I'm a girl dad, and he has a girl dad. His girl's the same age as my girls. I thought that was really cool. And he's literally in like Cole Lodger right now. His wife and all of them are in Boston still. All right. So he's literally he's doing, he said all he's doing is football, football, football. And he says he loves it. And I never felt that way these past 3 years. I never felt like you had a coach. Maybe, I'm not trying to question someone's dedication, but I just feel like Jeff Hafley has opportunity here to really take this by storm. And I'm with my boy who said, with Todd over here talking about predicted top 10 defense. I think we're going to have a top 10 defense in all categories. And it just really depends now how we supplement that team, because we do have some deficiencies that we got to, kind of fill out here in the draft. But so we love him as his presser. What did you think about his comments about his coordinators? Like certain guys he kind of hyped up that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is so supportive, and like the way he positively talks about the people around him too, I think fired people up. I wanted to go back quick to something you said about how he's like giving up some of himself or whatever, like giving up a head coaching position to go a coordinator position.
Yeah.
Something that he said, it's not word for word a quote, but he said something along this. I'm open to ideas. I don't care whose idea it was. Whatever the best idea is, that's what we're going with. Like that shit fires you up, man. That's as a player, like you think that's what they want to hear. Like, oh shit, like he's willing to listen to us. Like, hey coach, I got an idea. I'm out here on the field. I'm seeing it this way. He's going to listen. I don't think we had that with Joe Barry.
No way.
So that's something that really, really stuck out for me. The way he talked about his player, some of those coaches that he brought over was awesome, right? And we learned that another one, Sean Duggan, right? He's going to be a defensive assistant. That's another guy. That's a guy I think that was with him as a grad assistant at Ohio State. And then Duggan actually followed him to Boston College to like step into like an actual coaching role. So, I mean, people want to follow him, obviously, right? Like, he's giving these guys opportunities. He talks highly about people. Not only is he about player development, he's about assistant development, right? He's not developing just the players around him. He's developing the staff around him too. He makes your entire organization better. Like, in my opinion, I think we're about to witness this. He even talks about improving himself. So he wants to improve himself, the staff around him, and the players on the team. He's talking to the players already. He seems just like a great teacher and communicator. I don't think we had that with Barry. And he wants guys competing for snaps. So, there's going to be an extra edge and tenacity to this defense, right? Working for snaps. But that's what I got. That's what I got out of that, man. But to answer your question, man, I just love how he talks about the guys around him. People want to be around him. He's got a bit of dog in him, it feels like, too. So I'm stoked for him to have him.
It's funny you say that because Victor Abugusi, he followed him from Boston. You got Sean Duggar following him from Boston. Then he worked with Ryan Downing when he was in Cleveland with him under Mike Pettin. What I love the fact is that he's able to take multiple different forms of defenses, the solid defense, the Pettin defense, to include even because he was in Tampa for a little bit too. So he has a little bit of that as well too. I feel like he's able to take a little bit of every one of those defenses and make his own defense. I think it's awesome. And the way he hyped up, like what I was talking about was like Anthony Capinelli. Like the way, like you were just saying, like how he is really all about developing not only his players but his staff, right? Because he's been trying to get this dude on his staff for years. He finally got him. And the way he talked about this dude, I'm like, damn, dog, like you really like this guy. You really want him. And like I am just really excited to see like where we can take off when it comes to like, because everybody that he hired, if you look at the age too, they're all relatively young guys. They're all relatively young dudes with maybe some new ideas. And something that you said too, where you talked about how he takes ideas from players. It shows me that he is a good leader in the sense that he said that he would talk to Richard Sherman. Sherman would sit here and be like, hey, like you called this play, but I saw this. And he would have that conversation. And he said, hey, that's a great idea. We're going to do that going forward. Or he's going to say, I don't think that's going to work out. We're going to kind of stick to what I was thinking. But the fact that he's willing to have that open dialogue and he's willing to listen to the veterans and the all pros on his team who give him insight on things because they're on the field. And he said, like, these guys are on the field. They're the ones that are actually running the plays. They're the ones that are actually doing out there and making these moves. Like, I got to be able to understand what they're seeing and what they're comfortable with, what they aren't. And what don't you feel like it just felt like this whole last 3 years that there are a lot of players that were just playing out of position, not comfortable, not confident, and they weren't being put, like he said, the best position to succeed. And I mean, shit, I looked at Ja. I mean, Jair Alexander is an all-pro corner, hands down. He's top 5 in my book, and
100%.
And he has not looked great. And I know it might be a little bit of injury, might be the scheme too. Like I just don't think he was feeling what was going on, and like. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I'm gonna go out there every week and I'm gonna look bad, it's gonna be hard for me to keep going out there. And I'm gonna every time you call a play where you just tell me to do stupid stuff, and I don't agree with it.
I think that's why he took so long to come back from his injury because he's just like, I could probably go out there and play, but he's probably like, shit, why would I want to go out there and play like this or like with like in this situation? I'd rather be 100%, Because if you're in a position that you don't really want to be in, I would rather feel my best than be feeling like part broken and be like, all right, let's try to get through this. So, I think these guys are going to want to play for him.
Yeah. I think those fans are going to be excited too. Like, I mean, look at what everyone's saying on here. Like, everyone is excited as shit just to hear this man talk. And you know what? Who knows what's going to happen? Like, who knows what's going to happen? But I know that so far we're going a step in the right direction. I definitely agree. Van Ness and Brooks both were guys that Van Ness was a hand in the dirt kind of guy, but Colin Brooks played like everywhere. They had that dude playing like 5 tech, 3 tech, 1 tech. He had him playing outside linebacker at 305 pounds. That man was everywhere at Bowling Green. It was insane.
When you take,
it was like when you what was that dude for Baltimore? It was that player for Baltimore. Oh man, what was his name? Jeez and peace. Oh, Ardelius Thomas. Okay, this guy played every single position, not on the front 7, but they even had him at safety and corner a couple times. And he was like a freaking like 280-pound freaking like behemoth. And he just gonna run with the wind. And I don't know, I'm telling you, I'm excited to see those two guys play. And then I agree with Todd here, where he's talking about Walker could be moved around. I mean, they're supposed to kind of mess with that last year, and I think injuries kind of screwed that up. But I think we have an opportunity to have him. I would love to see him as a pass rusher. I would love to see him going after the quarterback.
Hand in the dirt.
I don't care. Do whatever you got to do. Just get that man in the back. That's it. Now, it's crazy to think like, wow, we have all this stuff. But you know what? Like, I don't know, man. I just feel like we're in a whole new world right now. And it's just the fact that we don't know what's going to happen is a good thing. It's also a scary thing too. But I'm so far so good.
Yeah. So since we kind of got into some of those assistants and stuff like that, the one that we ended up picking up today, we can talk about him real quick. That's a defense assistant hire. They think he's probably going to work with the linebackers. It sounds like Sean Duggan. I was doing a little research because, like, when you get to like defensive assistants in college, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to know every guy. I got to do a little research. But this guy, I found out that in 2021, the season as the linebackers coach for Boston College, Duggan was named as a top 30 coach under the age of 30 by 247 Sports.
Oh, damn.
So, I mean, so just like, you know, something like that. And so get this, though. Also, while Duggan was that linebackers coach at BC, Isaiah McDuffie played there.
Oh shit! Yeah,
and he had 100 tackles for the Eagles in 2020. So you know, just like little connections like that, seeing stuff like that with this hire, you know, you like to see it because I feel like Hafley's going to bring guys on that are similar to him, but also have that you know, original idea or free thinking or like trying to expand their mind within the game of football. I think those are the type of coaches he's going to connect with. So, you know, I'm just excited, man, to see these guys he's bringing on, the way he talks about them. Because remember in the 90s, man, we like the assistant coaches we freaking had in the 90s all went on.
It was like the Redskins, like this last when they you know that biopic they always not biopic, that freaking like screenshot they always show. Oh, Sean McVay, you know, Mike, Kyle Shanahan,
Andy Reid.
Oh no, I said yeah. So back then, that coaching staff that Holmgren had developed was insane. Like the number of head coaches that came out of there was crazy. And what I could piggyback off what you're saying is you look at some of the guys he brought, like he brought in Derek Ansley from San Diego, right? Or sorry, Los Angeles, right? And he was a former, he was the DC over there. And he took over when Staley got fired. He was a DC by name, but then he took over as the DC when he got fired. And, you know, there's a lot of guys on this staff that have had a little bit more of a prominent role, and they're kind of even taking a step back. And, you know, like, even like the Duggar guy we're talking about here, he was the co-defensive coordinator when he was in Boston. Now he's a defensive assistant. But that's still a lot of wealth of knowledge that you're bringing in. And it's going to be good to get new voices in there because I feel like after a while, you know, things do get stagnant. And Chris, I'm with you, man. Like, Chris, talk about Chris Jenkins, man. I'm with you. I am all for bringing in Cullen Jenkins' nephew. Like, dude, you have no idea how much I love Cullen Jenkins. Like, I am probably one of the biggest fanboys of Cullen Jenkins. We don't win a Super Bowl without Cullen Jenkins. I'm just gonna be completely honest about that. And if we can get his nephew, and he's a nasty dude, man. Like they call him like a juggernaut. They call him a mutant. Like they call him all these things because he's so strong, fast. I don't think he's gonna be that big. And another Michigan guy, so you know him and Gary are gonna get along great. And man, I don't know, like. What do you think, though? Do you think we got to get safety? I think that's a given, right? I don't think we reach for safety. But do you feel like because front seven and front four is so important in this defense, do we kind of invest in that early in the draft, like the Byron Murphys and like the Tiandre Sweats of the world, or do we just go, you know, secondary? We go get like, you know, Cooper DeJean or something like that.
Yeah. I think we're going to go with Cooper if he's on the board. That's my guess.
Me too,
I can see us going offensive line as well in the first round. That's the way those are the two things I think are going to happen. You know, Troy Fantano, I think his name is. He's the offensive lineman from from the Huskies. Could be another guy. I think we go safety second or third round. I really like the Tyler Nubin kid out of Minnesota, but
he's gonna be nice.
Cooper is, you know, the guy.
Cooper's my man. That's my draft darling. We go draft him now, but that's the guy I want.
Because he's I probably put too much into in the Packers to stray away from it because he's going to be like a Swiss Army knife in the secondary. You know, you're going to be able to put him at safety, nickel. I think he can play some corner. You know, depending on the matchup, but I like him, man. You know,
he's this year's Minka. He's this year's Minka Fitzpatrick. When Minka's coming out of Alabama, that's exactly what he was. He was the Army Swiss knife. He was basically he could play any position in the secondary, and he was the reason why Nick Saban trusted him so much. And Nick Saban doesn't want to trust anybody in that secondary as much as he trusted Minka. And I could see Cooper being that kind of dude. And the fact that he's not testing, I think that bodes well better for us because, you know, the thing is, like, his accolades already have been known. Like, the dude runs
Yeah.
track. He runs, I think, he runs 100 meters. He runs hurdles. He has like freaking like not world record, but pretty freaking good times and that shit. So people know he's fast, and these game
Yeah.
tape shows it too. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like, if we come
He
out
might
this
do his
draft, dude, I'll be hyped, man. I'll be
yeah.
hyped. Now you won't be able to talk. I might run and go get his jersey right away. I don't know.
I'm not even gonna sweat it because he's probably gonna work out at Iowa's pro day.
Yeah.
Some of the guys do that. Like, why would
Yeah,
I
for sure.
go there? I'd
Yeah.
rather just like not travel. Work out where I'm comfortable. But as you said, he's not working out at the combine, so I
Yeah.
gotta let everyone know the combine is here. It started today. If you didn't
Yep.
know,
Mhm.
it's a good time for players and coaches and team staff. It's where some players might underachieve and their draft status might drop and fall into our lap, or some athletic freak is going to go out there and show out, and they're going to end up getting paid millions of dollars that they'd be considered a bust later. In my opinion, it's a fool's paradise. Everyone there's somebody that runs a crazy 40 every year, and that's what gets them drafted where they are. Someone falls for someone who runs a fantastic 40, typically the Las Vegas Raiders. Someone's bench press, is gonna stand out, or be like, oh, they're strong, but then they're not gonna even be able to really move
I
on a
live for that
football
stuff,
field.
man.
It's just crazy, man. Like, there's crazy stories out there. But I always admire the combine. But what I love the most about that, it really gets the draft talks going and all the mock drafts really like shaken up. I think that gets that buzz going. Now we're like, when the combine starts, now, there could be a trade leading up to the draft or in the draft. I don't know, man. NFL season's year round. And it's just like, this is great, man. I think this is probably the most excited I've been about it in a while.
I'm with you,
But
man.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I
the
can't.
combine's here. So
Hell yeah, man. Todd brings up a good question. He said you wouldn't be surprised if we get a running back in the third round. I completely agree with that. I like the kid,
okay.
Jalen Wright. I feel like he's going to be the next like Aaron Jones. Like, he's really that good. Tennessee kid, and he just runs like the wind, and he just looks really, really nice. And getting him in like a third, fourth round would be solid. I think Emmanuel Wilson will be the backup if they don't bring back Dylan, but you still need to keep supplementing that, because who knows if Patrick Taylor is going to be back. But something that I wanted to mention, talk about running backs, and like one running back in particular was Christian McCaffrey. And the reason I bring him up is that the Packers did sign the new strength and conditioning coach, and he's the assistant head coach from the Niners, Aaron Hill. Consequently, he is married to Matt LaFleur's wife's cousin. So at first I was going to talk shit about some more nepotism, good old boy stuff, right? But in his defense, he was on the Niners team. Niners, for the most part, minus not career ending, but like season-ending injuries. They didn't have a lot of injuries that were like these soft tissue issues. And Christian McCaffrey is probably the most injured running back to come into the league leaving Carolina. High ankle sprains, hamstrings, everything. He was able to manage him to where he played every single game this season. So if he could do that with Christian Watson and Aaron Jones, sign me the hell up. I'm perfectly fine. I saw Christian Watson out there working out, and we don't got to worry about his dad will post stuff on Twitter for us to see anyways. And I love that man. That man, Unk be hooking us up. But the truth is, like, we know that there's a lot of players on this team that have an opportunity to really break out. And the truth is, like, let's be real. Like, Aaron Jones, as good as he is, we have yet to see him truly break out. What I mean by that is play 80% of the games and be featured. And we got a glimpse of that at the end of the year, right? Just like Jordan went on a heater, so did Aaron Jones. I'm really hoping that Aaron Hill can come in here and really kind of like bring some new juice to our strength and conditioning, because the truth is the players have to take care of themselves right now, from the second the season ends to when OTAs and all that kind of stuff starts in training camp. This is their opportunity to get their bodies right to when they do get in the program. They're given things to help improve work or whatever, but strength and conditioning, they're there to make sure that they stay healthy, right? But they got to come in healthy. They got to come in right. And I'm hoping
Yeah.
that they get the right guidance from Aaron Hill and his crew to be able to do that.
I think they're going to. I think it was LaFleur said he was doing some cool things out in San Francisco. Is like what he. That's what he actually
Yeah.
said. So I was just like, all right, man, come do some cool things. So this is something I learned today doing a little search. Is that Watson and Stokes were sent to the University of Wisconsin to see their hamstring specialist.
Yeah.
So I was just like, we don't have a guy like you're telling me we're having all these hamstring issues and like you're like screw this professional, let's like send him down to the U. I was just like, oh man, I didn't know it had gone to that point where I was just like, so I'm digging this, and I saw that what you're talking about with CMC, what great work, right? To go from it was like he missed. Like he played like 10 games in his last 2
10 out of like last like 30 or something,
and then he missed
48 or something.
Yeah. Then like the last, like within the amount of time he's spent with the Niners, I think he's missed one or something like that. So saw that too. So it's just like, okay, man, like I'm in, man, because it's like how many times have we got to a point where like, oh, this game might have gone a little bit different if this guy or that guy was in there, and it feels like 9 times out of 10 it's a hamstring, or as you put it, a tissue issue. Like I just like saying that tissue issue.
The most frustrating thing in the world. And when I did see them send him to, it was like University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, I believe, right? And I'm just like, all right, well, just send him to John Hopkins. Screw this shit. Like, I don't even care. Just send him wherever you guys send him to get his shit right. I don't care. But the truth is, like, like you kind of want that stuff to be done in house, but it just shows that LaFleur and Goody and all of them are willing to do. They're basically, hey, no stone unturned. We're going to try to figure out anything we can to make sure we can get our players right. And I appreciate that. I just think that, like I think, like Todd said here, 80% of Watson. Could you just imagine? Like, when it comes to working out and lifting, I'm a pretty avid workout person, right? And I feel like every single day we learn so many new things about the body and how it can be developed and how there's ways of training smarter, not harder. And I think like with all the advancements in technology and nutrition and supplementation that you can do with, of course, the NSF, right? But like, the truth is like finding ways to be able to get the most out of your body without breaking it down to the point to where like it can't perform what it needs to perform. And, having someone in there who's a little bit younger, who's actually new, a little bit newer, new voice again, sign me up, man. Because you and me both, I think everybody here, every fan knows the damn issues we've had when it comes to hamstrings, when it comes to freaking just these nagging soft tissue injuries. I'm just over it. I'm hoping that,
absolutely,
Aaron Hill can do something. Of course, you know what's going to happen, right? Training camp's going to start, and somebody's going to show up with some hamstring issues, and we're going to be like, fire. We're going to hashtag firing Aaron Hill. It's going to be so short for him. But no, I can't wait. I mean, like I said, like we're 2 games away from Super Bowl. 2 games away from Super Bowl, and we're not staying complacent. I love that.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about Aaron Hill is just like it's football. Injuries are going to happen, right? So we can't get too crazy, but like the no contact injuries and stuff like that, and injuries that are happening in practice, like I just hope to see like less injuries. Maybe certain injuries not be so severe where it's like, oh, it's a hamstring, it's 6 weeks, it's that bad. Where it's like I'll get him back in 3 or 4 weeks instead, something like that. So like quicker recovery time. So that's like what I'm hoping to see with him, man.
We need a yoga instructor, man. We need a Green Bay Packer yoga instructor who does yoga with these guys every single day. Seriously. They said that
100%.
McCarthy back in like, what was it, 2015? He had like a Friday. It was like a Friday deload day. And basically that Friday, everybody was like, they would no workouts, no practice. They would get like massages. They would get like yoga. They would do all this therapy, everything. And that was one of the few years that they had minimal injuries. And then they did away with it and they stopped doing it. I'm like, what the hell? It was working. Like, I would love for LaFleur to institute something like that. Like, he gives them a lot of rest days. You notice that? Like a lot of, head up days and shit like that. But the truth is, I feel like you definitely got to, prioritize health, especially when you get later into the season. Because now you got an extra game of football that you're playing now. And
hey, man,
Yeah. Good.
I was just gonna say, no, man. Yeah, I'm all with you on the yoga. Get them in yoga. I'll tell you. So when I was going to college, I was working a job in the veterans office, and they told us during our lunch break, if we went to one of the university provided workouts, they would let us stay on the clock. And so we're like, sweet, like a paid workout.
Yeah.
And so in the veterans office, we all went over there. We got invited by a few of the ladies that worked in financial aid. And they said, hey, we go to this yoga class. You guys want to come with us? So I started doing yoga like 3 times a week. And that's probably the best my body's ever felt.
Hell yeah.
So I'm telling you, man, I'm with you. Let's find some sort of traditions or routines with these guys. And one of the top ones is yoga, man. I'm telling you. Todd here, I love this, right? Lynn Swan did ballet.
Hell yeah.
Absolute true fact, man. It helped him, jumping and getting after that ball. True, though, here says Robert Kraft knows all the best massage bar.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, man.
I was like, you knew that was coming, though. When I said massage, I was waiting for someone to hit that joke. So it's either going to be him or Deshaun Watson. It's going to be something one of the two, man. But yeah, I knew one of them was going to hit me. But, hey, man, I just think that we have a lot to be excited about. Goody does talk this week. We'll hear him at the Combine, so I'm looking forward to that and seeing what he has. He's not going to be a big nothing burger, but you know what? It's going to be fun. Can't wait to hear what he has to say. He's going to say he doesn't give much, but it'll just, it's always good to hear from the GM, right? It's funny that, the coaching staff for another year now will not be attending the Combine. For like mixed rumors about that, but I don't know how true it is. Like, Goody doesn't care what the coaching staff has to say, this and that. But you know what? It's worked these last 2 years, so I'm not going to complain. The draft class has been really good, so maybe they can hit it a third time, right? But sometimes you don't need to have maybe so many voices in the room to try to figure out who you need to bring in.
Yeah. How many rookies do you think we will need to pitch in or play significant snaps next year to take that next step, or to like really feel like we're surging through to the Super Bowl? Because I mean, the Super Bowl window's open, man. The championship window's open.
100%.
But I feel like we got to hit, because like this year we had a lot of rookies playing snaps, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how many do we need this next year, do you think?
I mean, honestly, the funny thing is, like, because the way NFL is not, everyone, it's 100% injury rate, right? Everyone's gonna get hurt. So I won't be surprised if you do see out of our rookie class, 80% of them probably get playing time. I mean, you're gonna have them gain playing time on special teams. Probably gonna have them gain playing time. I mean, you already know that we're probably gonna draft a safety who's gonna get starting reps. Probably bring in a veteran as well too. But I feel like a good number of them. I think you're not going to see too much of a difference from last year. We had a lot of rookie players contributing, because the truth is like, just like you were saying about Hafley. Hafley says that every position is going to be in for competition. It means everyone's going to get a shot, which it should be that way, and no veteran preference and all that kind of stuff. Like, nah, screw that. Let's see who the best is out there, and who the best is. That's who's going to get it.
Thunderdome, baby. 2 men enter, 1 man leave.
Yeah, it's like the Joker meme when he throws the pool cue on the floor and he has 3 people and one has to come out on top, right? Yeah, I mean, Sanjay makes a good point here. Like, I definitely agree with that. Where when it comes to like offense, you're not going to see a lot of rookie involvement. Maybe if they do get a running back who gets time, and if Aaron Jones gets banged up or something, I could see definitely a rookie running back getting some play. I agree with guard, but if Sean Ryan does take that next step, you're going to be pretty much good to go at right guard. And then the question really is going to be like, do they bring in someone to challenge Josh Myers? Because I know the coaching staff loves Josh Myers, and I know his fans hate Josh Myers, and I really hate Josh Myers. He's up there almost with Joe Barry. I just think he's the most inconsistent center I've seen in my entire life. It's just terrible. I'd rather get freaking Evan Dietrich Smith back out there. Like, what are we freaking doing? But yeah, I agree. I just think that, like you were just saying, like offensive line, there's a lot of great talent that's in this draft when it comes to offensive line. And because we're going to see so many quarterbacks, receivers, and probably tackles going in the first round, you can see a lot of that good talent kind of get pushed down, which I'm telling you, man, like if they go BPA, don't be surprised to take a receiver first round. Like,
Yeah.
I keep hearing like, I mean, we don't need one. Like, I'm not saying like,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, I love what we have. Like, I don't feel like we need a receiver, but like, if you got like a Brian Thomas or you have like a Keon Coleman or something crazy that pushes down that way, like like I don't know.
Yeah.
That question's a good one. I'm gonna just give a quick answer, and I want you to give your long answer because the answer is yes. I hope they do. Please, you tell me what you think.
Long answer. I mean, if you do, I feel like it's better than 7th-round pick. I know we have a lot of late-round picks, or just like go get the top undrafted guy. Got to put some pressure on him. Make it a competition. I mean, is Crosby available?
Seriously,
But the thing is, though, like this, just something, man, where it's like put some pressure on this kid and make him work for it, just like everybody else, right? Just like Hafley's around the defense, you got to earn your snaps. This fool's got to earn his kicks, right?
I agree with that. Like, I think this whole like Rich Bisaccia coming out and just like going to bat for Carlson to the point where it's like, dude, like that's not your fucking son. Like he is your kicker. He was probably the worst kicker in the league. He missed the most extra points out of any kicker in the league by a wide margin. Now I understand that there's gonna be growing pains. I get that. But when it comes to certain things, you need to be pretty automatic at certain distances. It's just the way it is as the NFL kicker. If you can't do that, then I don't know. They did bring one in from Georgia, I believe. It was Podolsky or something like that. And his numbers out of college weren't that great. But he is on the team right now, about 90 man. And I get it. I mean, I can see like, if it's 50 plus, he's gonna hit it, which doesn't make any freaking sense to me. But then if it's like between like, I think what was it, like
30 and 40.
Yeah, he can't hit for shit. And I'm just like, all right, man, come on, dog. And so I'm with
you. Maybe it was like closer to 38. Because I think at one time he was like 35 and under. He was like perfect for a while. But then, yeah, there was like you were saying, there was a range there. It was like,
yeah,
like,
I'm like, what are we doing? And I just, what kills me about it is just the way he talks about him. Oh, he's a good kid. He comes from a good family. Like, bro, none of that matters. All I care about is if he can kick the freaking ball through the freaking uprights. That's it. Like, nothing else means shit to me. Yeah. Like, I understand, like, Daniel Carlson was kicked. He got let go by the Vikings, and then he went to the Raiders, and he's probably one of the top, 5 kickers in the league. That doesn't mean that's going to happen with Anderson. Yeah. It's a possibility.
Well, it's a possibility.
Yeah, but
you got to imagine they're working together, right? If like you're brothers and you're both NFL kickers, you probably work on the off season together. You
should. I mean, I hope so. But another thing too, in Carlson's defense, the long snapper who we literally gave a 3-year deal to, and he paid him a shit ton of money. Orzik was not good. He graded out as probably one of the worst long snappers. He had a lot of balls that were dropped on the floor, and like there was some where Whelan didn't do a great job of holding, but majority of it, I mean, we spent top dollar on this long snapper to eliminate that as a concern, and that actually reared its ugly head. Hell, it happened in Niners game where there was a couple times he was just skipping the ball across the freaking floor. Like, I'm like, dude, what are we doing? And so I would like for us to get some competition for when it comes to long snapper, and definitely kicker. We already have competition. I think punter were great. I think Whelan's the truth. I think he's our long term.
I like Whelan.
Young kid. We might have our punter here for the next 10, 15 years, honestly. I mean, I kind of want to bring in Matt Ariza, but Matt Ariza got so much damn baggage, it's not worth it because that's just that punk god over there got a lot of baggage. But
Chiefs just picked up that guy that the Bills cut.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Matt Ariza. Yeah. Man, like I said, that guy was a beast coming out of college, but just, I mean, even though he was found, all the charges are dropped. There's a lot of stuff if you read into it. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, man, there's
a lot of stuff is back on that. You don't. It's like even though all that stuff did come out, like he didn't, rape that person or whatever.
Yeah.
Other things that came out, they're like, oh, dude, like he's just not a good dude in general, based on some other shit too. So yeah, and yes, Todd Whelan is my boy. I've been on the hype. I've been on that dude since day one. The second I saw that redhead bastard, I was like, yep, that's my dog. You got me sold, Irish. You got me sold, baby.
So I want to be respectful of the time here too, and But hey, let's think of let's just think of a few things offhand real quick. What we could talk about next week, so our listeners here know what we'll be talking about next week. Imagine we'll be going through the combine, right? By then we'll see. Today was more weigh-in, height, check-in, maybe physicals and stuff.
Yep.
The good stuff will start later this week. We'll probably be. Is the coaching staff full now? Do you know? Like, is there any more
Yes.
vacancies?
Yeah, I think they, unless they hire more assistants, but the main positions that needed to have a coach for a position or anything like that, those are all filled. And I kind of felt like they wanted to get that done before the combine occurred. So that's why they got Aaron Hill in, they got Hafley, and they got his staff filled up, right? So they're good there. I'm really looking forward to seeing a lot of the guys that we've been talking about. Just a run. And you guys know how I get about Rascore. Matt Baum, Ken Platt. He's a diehard Lions fan, so you got to hate on him for that. But other than that, though, that man is the one that created a relative athletic score, RAS. Right. And he does amazing work. And if you haven't checked his stuff out, it normally gets retweeted by me and a bunch of other people when it comes just to see how athletically gifted some of these young men are coming out. Obviously, it doesn't always translate. You always have players that test like crap, and they are amazing football players. And then you got some other guys that test amazing, and they're just look great in shorts, right? So I think that I'm really looking forward to start talking about that next week after the combine gets done, because a lot of those numbers are going to come in, and it allows us to kind of get an idea about just how athletic or whatever some of these guys are, right?
Yeah. So is it all right if I assign us some homework for next week? Could we do like a mock draft, like 1.0, but we can just keep it like the first 3 rounds?
Yeah, sure.
I know we're
both already.
We're family guys, we're career guys. I'm not ready to dig into all rounds yet, but we could something we can maybe do from here up to the draft, right? Like do a mock 3 or whatever each week. Maybe we get it updated or something.
Heck yeah. I was like, I do those like the PFF mock draft simulator. So I'm definitely down with that, man. I'm definitely down with that. And
okay.
Mr. Arginus, very nice. Me and you as well too, man. Go Pack Go. And Green's from the West Coast and East Coast, man. And I'm happy to have you here.
Absolutely.
But I'm with you, bro. Yeah, I'm definitely down with that. I'm definitely down to do a mock draft, and and because you think about it, even doing 3 rounds, you're still doing like what, 4 picks? 5 picks. We're doing 5 picks. We're doing 5 picks, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's great. I'm down with that.
Yeah, a handful of picks in 3 rounds, man.
Let's do it.
That's something to look forward to. All right. Well, hey, this is Coast to Coast Packers. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be on the same Pack channel, same Pack time. I'm Bernie Bango.
I'm Armor Desai.
And we'll catch you next week.
Yes, sir. Go Pack. Take care.